The internet detectives have just discovered a sinister plot by OTF killers, and it all began with a revelation by none other than 50 Cent. I was even telling DK, hey, this is them right there, a real, and he said, yeah, to which I replied, just watch him and his group. A recently surfaced interview has revealed that an incident in which Durk and his girlfriend nearly died was an inside job. Did they ever learn who was responsible? Are shocking, and it appears that Durk's crew has no trouble putting him in a seat because this is a crazy one. OTF killers plan Lil Durk's death, but the evidence is indisputable that these guys actually attempted to harm their boss. In 2021, Durk nearly got murked at his house, and the details of that incident have been slowly making their way online. Let's just say that Dario shouldn't be putting his trust in his OTF friends because DJ Academics revealed the story in one of his Twitch live streams and discovered some startling information about what transpired. According to Academics, during a Twitch live stream, there was an alleged shooting near the gated community where Lil Durk lived. They called him the victim, and residents and neighbors told me that Durk lived there and that the FBI was attempting to conduct a search. The police presence at his Atlanta home was also heavy, and it was possibly raided as a result of an investigation into a shooting and other crimes. Warrant: Lil Durk experienced personal tragedies and public scrutiny in the months preceding the home invasion. On June 4, 2021, Lil Durk released Voice of the Heroes, a collaborative studio album with fellow rapper Lil Baby. 2 days later, his brother D would be shot and killed in Chicago. 3 days later, on June 7, 2021, on a Sunday morning outside a strip club in South Suburban Harvey, the OTF affiliate was shot in the head and declared dead at the scene. Later, tragedy nearly happened again on the evening of July 10, 2021. Durk and India Royale wanted to get away from the spotlight and spend a peaceful night at their home in the gated community of Chateau Alon, which is known for its exclusivity and security. As they settled in for the night, there was no sign of the danger that awaited them. The tranquility of their evening was abruptly broken in the early hours of July 11th, around 5 morning. According to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, a shootout broke out after a group of unidentified individuals targeted their residence and boldly entered the gated community, defying the security measures. The invasion was sudden and unexpected, taking Durk and India Royale by surprise in what should have been the safety of their own home. The couple exchanged gunfire with the intruders, who were able to escape before police arrived, and Dario took to the booth right away to address the rapper said in an interview with DJ Academic that he had to move houses after the incident, so please tell me to move from that spot, wherever that spot is. You got out of there no on live though, because he rapped you ain't get back for your mans you in the club like he ain't dead Nike ski mask for the company. The only time you wear it ran inside my crib, but the Glock 10 was by the bed. I'll get my gun to India before I put it in your hands. The situation took a turn that no one was expecting when Big Act, a prominent figure, revealed something that many had been speculating about for some time, what seemed like an inside job. It was an unsettling thought, but one that had been on the minds of many for a while. So, the question everyone was asking was, who was behind it? Was it really a case of an insider leak, as some had assumed? DJ Academics, the popular media personality and commentator, was not the one responsible for the leak, but it raised even more questions. How could anyone have known the exact location of someone's new residence? This wasn't just any person, it was someone who had made it clear that his home was a private sanctuary, a place where even his closest friends were never allowed. In fact, he went on to confirm that his best friend had never set foot in his house. It wasn't a matter of trust or friendship, it was a matter of ensuring that his private space remained, well, private. The idea that someone in his circle might have had knowledge of his whereabouts was a disturbing thought. This wasn't just a casual security issue, this was about a violation of trust. It made people wonder how someone could gain such intimate knowledge of another person's life. Who in his circle could have been involved in leaking such private information? The leak not only put his safety in jeopardy but also raised alarms about loyalty and betrayal within the inner circle. At the same time, this incident wasn't the first of its kind. The revelation echoed another event from a year earlier, involving none other than 50 Cent, the renowned rapper and businessman. In 2022, 50 Cent and Lil Durk, a rising star in the rap world, teamed up for the track Power Powder, the collaboration that garnered significant attention. But what many didn't know was that 50 Cent, who had long been a mentor to younger artists, had been giving Durk advice behind the scenes. One of the most crucial pieces of advice he gave him was a warning about his crew, something that would later prove to be eerily prescient. In an interview on The Breakfast Club, 50 Cent opened up about his attempts to guide younger artists, especially when it came to navigating the dangerous world of the streets. The rapper was asked about his role as a mentor and whether he had ever tried to help younger artists avoid making the same mistakes he had. Reflecting on his past experiences, 50 Cent shared how he had tried to steer artists like Casanova and others away from trouble. He spoke about how, over time, he had come to realize that many of these young artists were idolizing him and his success, often forgetting the dark side of fame that came with it. You see how these younger artists idolize you in your music, and then you see them get caught up, he said. When the interviewer brought up the specific case of Lil Durk, 50 Cent revealed that he had tried to warn him about the dangers of trusting too easily, especially when it came to his inner circle. "I was telling Durk that I had him in New York when I had him, and I thought, yo, this is it," 50 Cent recalled. "You see how these younger artists look up to you, and then you see them get caught up. It wasn't just a passing conversation." 50 Cent had made it a point to give Durk this crucial advice. He even mentioned that he had told Durk to be cautious about who he trusted and warned him to keep an eye on his crew. The warnings didn't stop there. 50 Cent continued by recounting a chilling moment when he learned that Durk had narrowly escaped a home invasion after his address had been leaked. In the interview, 50 Cent asked Durk how he had responded to the situation. "I told him to just watch him and his crew," 50 Cent said, referring to the unsettling possibility that someone in Durk's inner circle might have been involved. Durk's reaction was, "Telling somebody just came in my house. How do they know exactly what the address is? I don't give my address to anybody like this. It's not because of you." The realization that someone close to him might have leaked this information hit Durk hard. It was a sharp reminder of the dangers that come with fame, but also the complexities of trust within the tight-knit world of hip-hop. The incident only confirmed what 50 Cent had been warning about all along. Even the people closest to you could be the ones putting you at risk. This whole situation shed light on a darker reality of the entertainment industry, where loyalty is often tested and betrayal can come from unexpected places. Whether it's a leaked address or a more insidious betrayal, the message remains the same: trust no one blindly, no matter how close they seem. And for Lil Durk, the chilling experience was a wake-up call, a stark reminder that even in his circle, there were dangers lurking. Although no one has confirmed that OTF guys attempted to rob Durk, the information that has been circulating strongly points to them, and OTF is notorious in the streets because they have been involved in several shootings and carefully planned murders. The crew made headlines after they planned an assassination for nearly 2 years, something that happened in Georgia when India had to. He went straight to talking about that. It seems there is no honor among thieves. What's crazy is that at one point, Quando Rondo was cool with Durk and OTF. In an interview with DJ Academics, Lil Durk revealed that he and Quando were friends and frequently clowned V's OPS 63rd together. "I'm saying that even though they were 63rd some dirty, this love would soon turn to deep hatred one fateful night outside a club on August 5, 2020. Years later, OTF killers planned the assassination of Quando Rondo, which may be the craziest hit in hip-hop history. Took his friend Tim to the club. Tim had just been released from prison after being arrested and charged with conspiracy to violate the Georgia Controlled Substance Act, theft by receiving stolen property, and obstruction after a detective found more than $16,000, 15 pounds of marijuana, and 2 firearms. He wanted to have fun, but his companion, Quando Rondo, didn't want to go out. Instead, he wanted to take a nap outside the club in the car. It's interesting that Tim chose to stay with him. When V was about to get out of his car, King Val Hugh had just left Opium nightclub after successfully releasing his first album, Welcome to Block, and was heading to the Monaco Hookah Lounge where Quando and Tim were, and he said, "Little boo, little Tim, tell me little boo. I'm not about to let you go in no club." He said, "No love, I'm not about to let you sit in no car and go to sleep right by yourself. You feel me? I'm about to sit in here and roll up." Heading to the club, one of his homeboys informed him that he had just spotted fellow rapper Quando Rondo in the parking lot. V quickly got out of the car and started walking toward T's direction. Von attacked him, knocking him to the ground with a few crew members behind him. Von's guys joined in and began pelting Quando with blows as he futilely attempted to flee his assailants. In a split second, Tim emerged from behind their car, brandishing a gun, and began firing shots at Quando. Everyone fled after V was hit on the torso by 2 off-duty police officers who were close to the club. After the dust settled, V's men pulled up beside him, loaded him into the car, and drove off to the closest hospital. Tim hobbled into their car with Quando Rondo and drove there. As luck would have it, the 2 groups ended up in the same hospital. Sadly, there was no more violence, and according to court documents, Durk began plotting. Following Von's death, there were rumors that Durk had placed a bounty on Rondo's head, which fueled industry speculation and fear. However, according to court documents, OTF Jam informed police that Durk used coded language to inform OTF members that he would pay a bounty to anyone who participated in Kill in Quando Rondo. Durk's cousin DeAndre Wilson also informed OTF members that anyone who participated in the murder would receive a reward. The story of what happened before the shooting incident involving Quando Rondo and his team in Georgia started on a seemingly normal Saturday night at a local club in Georgia. The club was only a short drive from the eventual scene of the shooting, and as the night went on, the performance went off without a hitch. The first time Quando Rondo nearly lost his life was back in 2021 in Georgia. With lucrative music opportunities with OTF, which was also a music label, the timeline took a dramatic turn when Rondo and his entourage were getting ready to leave the venue early on Sunday morning after the performance. According to law enforcement sources, they stopped briefly at a convenience store in Blackshear, Georgia, before gunfire broke out, targeting the rapper and his group. It is thought that Quando Rondo was there when the gunfire started, but he was not there when authorities arrived and one member of his entourage was hurt. According to federal court records, the situation escalated by August 2022 after Lil Durk's associates allegedly discovered that Quando Rondo was lodging at a hotel in Los Angeles. On August 18, 2022, Lil Durk's associates DeAndre Wilson, Keith Jones, David Lindsay, and Asa Houston arrived in Los Angeles. They had driven there from Chicago to San Diego, allegedly using money that Durk himself provided. When they arrived, OTF members met with. As the day went on, the group allegedly started tracking Quando Rondo and his associate. According to court records, Con Grant, a top associate, had flown to Los Angeles on a private jet. Grant was instrumental in facilitating the operation by securing hotel accommodations for the group, buying ski masks, and obtaining 2 luxury sedans to be used in the ambush. Grant also gave Jones and Lindsay firearms, including one that had been converted into a machine gun, further increasing the likelihood of violence. The day's events culminated at a gas station across from the Beverly Center, a busy area in the heart of Los Angeles, where Asa Houston allegedly parked his car strategically behind the station, setting the stage for the ambush. Robinson and his companions traveled around Los Angeles in a Cadillac Escalade, stopping at a clothing store in West Hollywood and a marijuana dispensary. The tension was evident as the suspects followed their targets, waiting for the right moment to strike. When Robinson and Rondo pulled into the gas station, Jones and Lindsay allegedly got out of their car, armed and prepared to carry out their plan. In a shocking turn of events, the suspects opened fire, shooting a barrage of bullets in an attempt to kill Rondo. Robinson, who was outside the Escalade, was hit and killed by the gunfire, but Rondo miraculously escaped unharmed. Following the attempted ambush, the suspects regrouped at an In-N-Out hamburger stand where they allegedly discussed payment with Con Grant, and the group then flew back to Chicago from San Diego. But since there is no honor among thieves, it turns out that the crew is turning on one another and working with police OTF killers to snitch on one another. One of the guys who has been strongly implicated in snitching on the OTF boss is none other than Brick Baby, whose connection to the case is bizarre because he is neither affiliated with OTF nor from Chicago, but according to his top op, Wack 100, Brick Baby is the reason Lil Durk fell. And Wack 100 have been at each other's throats for years, even though they both worked for Adam 22 and publicly accused each other of being federal informants. In 2022, Brick Baby went on a well-known platform and disclosed that Wack was undoubtedly working with the federal government, particularly because he knew too much about the Atlanta shooting of Quando Rondo. Wack is a cop working. If you notice, every time something happens in the street, like in the case of Quando Rondo, how do you know so much about it? I don't even know that much about. You mentioned that the person who robbed them did this, but how do you know that unless you're receiving police reports? When Quando Rondo was shot in Atlanta, which resulted in his death, Wack disclosed that it was a drug deal gone wrong, and we all assumed that it was a bad drug deal. At one point, even World Star Hip Hop released a since-deleted video claiming that Wack was a federal informant. Wack 100 is accusing Brick Baby of snitching on Lil Durk and bringing down OTF in a podcast with Adam 22. Wack also revealed that according to his sources, Brick Baby is working with the feds, so you think that he's a federal informant. This is where the bad news comes. I got some bad news on my favorite hip-hop platform, World Star Hip Hop, and I discovered that my big homie is talking to the cops. Who is that to me, and what should I do to stop them? How do you respond to the narrative that Wack 100 has been putting out there? The accusations between Wack 100 and Brick Baby get interesting because months before Lil Durk and his fellow OTF members were arrested, Brick Baby had his house raided by the feds. What's strange is that despite being picked up by the feds and needing to be bailed out by Adam 22, no charges were ever brought against him. Wack 100 believes that this indicates that Brick must be compromised in feeding the feds information. The situation surrounding Brick Baby and his alleged cooperation with the authorities has raised numerous questions and sparked controversy within the hip-hop community. Recently, Wack 100 made a revealing statement that has added more fuel to the fire. He suggested that Brick Baby may have been cooperating with the feds or compromising in some way, particularly in relation to an alleged incident where Brick was reportedly arrested by federal agents, but there were no charges filed. This revelation comes months after the initial arrest, leaving people to wonder what really happened and why it took so long for the truth to come out. According to Wack 100, the reason for the sudden attention on Brick Baby's case was a podcast appearance he made during which Brick allegedly snitched on Lil Durk and his OTF Only the Family label. Wack claims that this act of betrayal was a significant factor in the feds' interest in Brick Baby. The situation escalated when, in February 2023, Brick Baby went online to address the rumors, claiming that everything had changed out of nowhere. He seemed to suggest that the dynamics within the OTF camp were shifting, particularly after Quando Rondo's cousin was removed from the group. Brick Baby claimed that there were certain things people could no longer say or claim, but he didn't explicitly explain what those things were. There was talk about FBG Cash and other figures being involved, but the details remained unclear. The mention of King Von's death was another major point of contention in this drama. Brick Baby had been open about the fact that no one within the OTF camp claimed that Von's death had been avenged. This remark set off a wave of criticism and confusion. On a podcast episode with Poetic Flacco, Brick Baby shared his thoughts on the matter, explaining that he didn't believe people were really talking about avenging King Von's death. He expressed skepticism about the idea of continuing to slide. For Von, suggesting that the whole concept had become a subject of trolling. The entire conversation raised suspicions, with many questioning whether Brick Baby was speaking out of turn or if there was something deeper behind his statements. One of the key moments in this ongoing saga came during a discussion with DJ Academics. Academics asked Brick Baby about his thoughts on people urging him to slide for Von. Brick Baby's response was telling. He wasn't sure if people still mentioned it, but he did acknowledge that people had been trolling him by bringing it up. This comment stirred up more questions about the loyalty and actions of Brick Baby within the OTF camp. Lil Durk, the leader of OTF, responded to this by noting that the comments encouraging violence in the name of King Von had disappeared from the internet. He remarked that there was a reason those comments were no longer visible, which seemed to hint at a more serious and deliberate attempt to remove any evidence linking them to the act of seeking revenge for Von. The intrigue didn't end there, however. According to WAC 100, the feds took action after Brick Baby's controversial podcast appearance. They obtained a search warrant and seized Brick Baby's phone, which reportedly contained some important and revealing information. WAC claimed that the contents of the phone were critical to understanding the full extent of Brick Baby's involvement in the situation. However, Brick Baby did not disclose that the feds had come after his phone. Instead, he had told the public that he was facing a gun charge in March, which seemed to be a diversion from the truth. The situation grew more complicated as rumors swirled about what the feds were really looking for. Many speculated that it could be linked to an Alaska 47 case, though nothing was confirmed at the time. The fact that Brick Baby's phone contained such significant information raised further suspicions. Why did the feds feel the need to seize his phone, and what kind of data were they hoping to uncover? The timing of the search warrant and the arrest only added to the belief that Brick Baby had become a person of interest due to his connections to high-profile figures in the hip-hop world. His podcast revelations, combined with his ties to OTF and other controversial figures, likely made him a key subject in an ongoing investigation. They came to get his still PH, but things got even more suspicious when Brick was never charged because he hasn't had a court date for his gun charge yet. This is odd because Brick is a gang member and a felon, and he says that getting a gun charge would put him in jail for a long time. Brick Baby says that the reason there isn't a court date is because the DA dropped his case due to a lack of evidence, but why would they reject the charge when they don't? They simply don't have enough evidence to look at the case and say, can I beat this in trial? But the comment section didn't have it and thought that Brick was definitely snitching. They thought that he was a side snitch, which is why he was raided soon after saying what he said. One comment said, Brick is scared, you can tell, and talking like a rat explains a lot and comes off trying to convince and distract by leaving and bouncing around. After Durk's indictment was made public, WAC 100 revealed the last nail in Brick Baby's coffin. Tay suspected that Brick was working with OTF members on the day of the shooting and giving the hitman Quando Rondo's location. If you go in there and look at report number 4, you'll see that a local guy was giving Quando dudes locations. According to WAC, the feds informed Quando Rondo after the shooting. Brick Baby's gang is claiming that they didn't support him. The accusations against him are becoming more public and clear every day, but he isn't the only OTF affiliate who is being accused of telling the truth, because one of Durk's closest friends was also exposed as a snitch, and his story is crazy. This is OTF Jam. There is a rumor circulating that there is a person going by the name of OTF Jam, and they're saying that either he wore a wire from the day. When the news broke that OTF was being shut down, one person in particular, OTF Jam, was constantly criticized for being an informant. Things got worse for the OTF rapper after damaging images of him cooperating with the feds surfaced online and went viral. DJ Academics shared this image of the alleged snitch in an interrogation room, eating fried chicken and fries while everyone was watching, but like a Brick Baby, Jam continued to defend himself.